I used to be extremely liberal.
Yeah.
And I went through a phase where I was like a lot more conservative than I am now. Like I don't know, I started doing acid and just kind of
chilling out,
having more perspective on these kinds of things, you know, because yeah, and then basically what I determined is that like both sides are pretty stupid from my point of view, for my values. Like neither side really does it for me. I think that there's a lot of stupidity on both sides and there's a lot of good stuff on both sides.
But don't you think one side is like, in the end of the day, right, you can say like, you know, no side 100% describes me. No, that's the fact for most people, right? Like I described the fucking sexualization of women, doesn't affect me, but it is still part of my side. I will defend it because it is part of my side. But I genuinely think like the one side, the conservative side now, is extremely dangerous in a lot of ways to everyone. And that's why I fight for, like, alongside liberals. I don't, as I mentioned last time as well, I wouldn't consider myself a liberal, but I fight alongside them just because I think, yes, they throw their hissy fits about everything and anything, but at least they're not banning books, locking children in rooms, and fucking finding excuses for the most terrible things you can do to people.
Look, I mean, I would kind of argue that liberalism has the potential to be a lot more dangerous than conservatism because, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Now, I'm not saying the system's not fucked. Just like anyone, I fucking hate most of the systems that have been put in place.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it comes to the argument of like, rather the devil you know, because and
yeah,
this is actually the argument of conservative people. Like, I mean, when I speak to my very conservative friends, they're like, dude, this is fucked up. Like on the trans issue, they're like they genuinely believe that this is a ploy by the elites to normalize pedophilia. And I'm like, listen,
dude, that's so dumb. Sorry.
You're grasping at so many fucking straws with your tinfoil hat on. It's ridiculous. But these are genuine concerns that these people have, and I mean,
I get
that regard.
I also,
in that regard, I do believe that liberalism has the potential to be more dangerous.
Because some people think that.
I'm not saying that I agree with that belief. I'm saying that maybe there is some liberal ideology that is quite damaging. I can't tell you which one, dude. I'm not invested enough in any of this shit or well-read enough in any of this shit to really have an opinion.
But don't you see, like, you know history, right? Like, you know what happened with Hitler. You know what happened, like, how he came to power and all that. And if you compare that to the way conservatives are acting these days, do you not also see a fuck ton of, the similarities? And, like, as you said, the devil you already know. Yes, we do know what fascism is. Does that mean we have to take that and, I don't know, make that
I am always ready to learn. So, look, the thing is, I mean, it can be argued that both sides have these same tactics, like
in and out groups, yeah, of course.
With the liberal side trying to control people's speech and kind of control how people should feel and what people should do.
But that's coexisting together.
Communicate with one another.
If everybody just did as they wanted, we'd live in a fucking chaotic society.
Yeah, no, we live in a society, and that's a fact. Like, I'm not saying that we should be free to do whatever the fuck we want. I don't think that anyone will say murder is a good thing.
I mean, you get pro-capital defendants, like capital and as in capital punishment. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, sorry, I'm playing Genji, so I'm about to sweat my ass off.
It's alright. Oh, that was you. You actually kept Rodrock distracted until you killed me. Okay, but let me just quickly compare a couple things for you, right? When Hitler before he came to power in the 1930s, he started referring to the press as Lügenpresse. And as a German, I can translate that for you. It translates to press of lies. Does that sound familiar in some way?
Yeah, no, obviously.
Burning books. Hitler burned books by Jewish authors because he thought they were dangerous for the public to read, right?
So book burning, that's something that religious people do.
Yeah.
While most conservative people are super religious, I'll agree with that. I don't think that is a result of conservatism. I think
but it is. It's on the basis of trans issues, right? It's always like, oh, got to protect the children from the trans fucking conspiracy. Like that, if you read a book with trans people in it, it makes you trans. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, and it's been rebuked by studies.
That's obviously fucking stupid.
And still, it's happening, right? Even though you say it's fucking stupid, it's happening. And you can, like, as you said earlier, like, both sides are dumb. Yes, they are 100%. I'll be the first to stand up and fucking call a fucking liberal a stupid fucking piece of shit that's overreacting to non-issues, right? But conservatives are way worse. We're on the road towards Hitler-esque fascism, not in the form of Christian nationalism. And that's fucked, dude. We need to do something. Either we just sit there and say both sides are fucked, or we actually change the way we actually choose a side that's fighting for somewhat freedom. Yeah, it's a bit of thought control, but at least it's not fucking literal banning of knowledge. Which I think is way worse than anybody saying you can't say the N-word.
How did that Genji get his ult before me? Okay, well, I have no damage. Makes sense.
Hey, GG. But yeah, like, I just think one side is... Yeah, both are bad, but one is way worse, dude.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, I'm not well read enough on these things to really pick sides and know which side is worse. I know that I've had terrible experiences with both sides.
Yeah, so have I.
Yeah.
But you can't just sit by and watch it happen, can you? Doesn't that not sit right with you?
No, look, I would never sit idly while someone is being wronged in front of me, right?
In front of you? But like, if your vote can prevent somebody being wronged, that's not next to you. Would you vote for that? Or would you say, fuck that, both sides are dumb?
I mean, I can tell you right now, if I were an American citizen, I would have voted for Trump a second time, bro.
Why?
100%. Because I think that...
What did Trump do ever that was actually good? Besides be a charming guy. Like, he has charisma, I'll give you that, right? He's extremely charismatic. But
I don't even think he's that charismatic. I think that the reason Trump is a better pick than Joe Biden is because Joe Biden
is a piece of shit, don't get me wrong. Like, fucking...
He's a massive piece of shit, and I think he's worse than fucking Donald Trump, honestly, in my opinion.
But how? Trump literally tried fucking causing a putsch. Similar to Hitler, the Munich putsch, yet again.
I mean, yeah, I haven't looked into that the insurrection thing very deeply.
I feel like that's a pretty big thing to consider, though, when you're gonna vote for someone again.
Yeah, no, a lot of the media I consume is actually quite like anti-liberal.
Yeah.
And that's because, like I said, I went through a phase where I was extremely liberal. And then I kind of switched gears and became like kind of super anti-liberal.
Yeah, same.
So a lot of that stuff is like still in my feed, and I don't agree with a lot of it, you know, but it's still there. And I found like being a centrist and having centrist media is super difficult because
every media has its perspective.
Yeah, no, because it's actually boring, so people don't report that kind of shit.
Yeah, but the insurrection was quite a big thing, man. Like, everybody knew about that. I think people even died, dude.
Yeah, well...
Yeah, well... sounds pretty proto-fascist to me, bro.
There were people who were killed by the authorities. People who broke into the building.
Yes.
Were like shot by the security or something.
Yes. Because you don't do that. You don't storm a fucking
No, it's fucking stupid. I'm not like I would never condone any of those people's actions. I think it's fucking stupid. I do think.
But you're condoning it if you're gonna vote for the guy that instigated it, no?
So I don't think Donald Trump instigated that.
He did.
I think that
he absolutely did. Didn't he actually call for it? And they had to force him to tell the masses to go away. They had to force him to call off his followers from murdering the entire parliament. Is that not fascism?
This is what I'm saying. I don't know that Donald Trump actually like wanted this to happen. You know, that's like kind of what I'm saying here.
Okay, so if you call fake election to your fanatic fan base, that is mostly there because of your cult of personality, right? Like, do you really think they're just gonna sit there and be like, yeah, I guess? And there's a protest already going on. If you call then like, oh, the election was fraud, that's election fraud, no. 1 second, sorry. Yeah, like, that's bound to happen. You have a certain responsibility as a leader, as a person with a following. It's the same thing, like, if I go after somebody in my videos, it's my responsibility to tell my audience this, especially if this person is a smaller creator, to not go fucking harass this person if I have a big platform. And if let's say I harass.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, no, but hear me out, right? Imagine I harass someone and then I tell people, oh, this guy tried fucking my girlfriend. People would go mental. People would instantly go mental and fucking harass that person, even if it's not true, because they were told something fucking horrifying about this person that it might or might not be true, but it doesn't matter because they believe it to be true. Ah, for fuck's sakes. And yeah, that's the insurrection. Fucking, might not have said, oh, fucking storm the Capitol. Wait, I can actually look this up. We can see what quotes he had on the whole situation.
No, I get what you're saying. And I do believe that he was responsible to a degree. Not in the sense that he like he directly caused it, but he definitely indirectly caused that to happen by ranting and going on about the election being stolen and shit.
Yeah.
Like that I do agree with. I do think.
But you're condoning it if you're gonna vote for the guy that instigated it, no?
So I don't think Donald Trump instigated that.
He did.
I think that, so the reason I would have voted Republican is because I genuinely don't trust the Democratic Party at all.
I also think the Democrats are shills, right? They sell to every company and they are just as bad as the Republicans when it comes to capitalism ruling our lives and big corporations ruling pretty much more than actual like people at this point, right? Like, I think they fucked in that way too, but at least they didn't fucking call for a fucking insurrection, ban books, call for the fucking lynching of certain people, and defend the murder of black people at the hands of cops. Fucking Matt Walsh, people like that are responsible for fucking kids' hospitals being threatened with bomb threats. How is that not like enough of a reason to say, yeah, maybe the Republicans are slightly worse? Because yeah, both are shills and fucking corrupt to the core, right? But one party is not only corrupt to the core, but also fascist. That's the two choices you have. Fucking people that like to virtue signal and pretend they're better than they are, or people that have no shame about admitting how shitty they are. You know?
Yeah, no, and I'm a man about honesty, you know?
No, I agree 100%, but like, honesty is not fucking organizing an insurrection. That's not honesty. That's political terrorism.
Let's adapt.
Like, yeah. Okay, wait. Maybe we can actually find the here. The media will... I'm gonna read the speech of Trump's to you that he held right before the insurrection. The media will not show you the magnitude of this crowd. Even I, when I turned on today, I looked and I saw thousands of people here. But you don't see hundreds of thousands of people behind you because they don't want to show that. They have hundreds of thousands of people here. And I just want to want them to be recognized by the fake news media. Turn your cameras, please, and show what's really happening out there, because the people are not going to take this any longer. If that sentence alone is already quite fucked, right? They're not going to take it any longer. Go ahead, turn your cameras, please. Would you show They came from all over the world, actually, but they came from all over to our country. Sorry, I'm just trying to focus on game and reading at the moment. I just really want to see what they do. I just want to see how they covered. Wait, I'm gonna just fucking die and then I'll fucking continue reading. Okay. I've never seen anything like it, but it would be really great if it could be covered fairly by the media. The media is the biggest problem we have as far as I'm concerned. Single biggest problem. The fake news and the big tech. Big tech is now coming into their own. We beat them 4 years ago. We surprised them. We took them by surprise. And this year, they rigged an election. They rigged it. Like they never rigged an election before. By the way, last night, they didn't do a bad job either, if you notice. I'm honest. I just again want to thank you. It's a great honor to have this kind of crowd to be here before you. Hundreds of thousands of American patriots are committed to the honesty of our elections and the integrity of our glorious republic. All of those here today do not want to see our election victory stolen by emboldened radical left Democrats, which is what they're doing, and stolen by the fake news media. That's what they've done, and they are doing. We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. You don't concede. Where there's theft involved. Does that sound like somebody inciting an insurrection to you?
It kind of does.
It kind of does, eh? Honesty, though. Honesty is the best policy, as you said. But still, the media, like nowadays, the Republicans claim no, it was all a fucking ploy by the Democrats. Who's the honest one, dude? They're twisting the narrative all the time. There's no honesty involved in that side. The only thing that the right does really well is they take a problem that exists and they give you a super simple solution. They tell you, oh yeah, gun control isn't the problem, it's actually bad people. Yeah, that would make sense on the fucking surface, but when you realize that most people wouldn't be able to fucking, first of all, get access to a gun if they were mentally unhealthy or fucking whatever, there's always a lot more nuance, and that's never mentioned by the right. That's why they sound so logical, that's why they sound so smart, that's why they sound like they actually know what they're talking about. But as soon as you dig between their fucking words, you realize how full of shit it is. There is no honesty. You know, if you say you want honesty, side with the Liberal Party, because at least they use science and facts, and not just faith to, you know, embolden their own worldview or like to represent their worldview. There is no honesty on the other side. If that's what you're trying to tell me, then I don't know.
Yeah. Listen, I kind of need to go, dude. I know we didn't really get into any of the conversations we wanted to have.
That's all right, mate. I'm also going to smoke a fat joint now. All right, man.
I need to bounce. Oh, well. Cheers, bud.
Cheers, man.